I have a few news stories from Ethiopia, Eritrea, and Sudan, Djibouti as well. Firstly, an update about a poet, a writer who was arrested around a week ago. His name is Bale Bakale. He was arrested like other Ethiopian journalists, Fano fighters, Fano supporters, and activists are being arrested who are critical of Ethiopian federal government, Amhara regional government regarding the operation in Amhara region of Ethiopia, which is mainly against Fano militia members. Bale Bakale was arrested by unknown security officials a week ago. Then we saw video messages. Bale Bakale's sister, his mother and father were seen crying, pleading for recovery of Bale Bakale. Reportedly, Bale Bakale has been released. He has been reunited with his family. He has joined his family. Thousands are still in detention, mostly from the Amhara region, journalists, activists, mainly Fano fighters. Thousands are still in detention. Firstly, viewers, we have a new story from Oromia. A few hours ago, Ethiopian PM Abiy confirmed a massacre in Qellem Wellega in which dozens of innocent civilians, mostly ethnic Amharas, were killed. We were waiting for, and PM Abiy accused Oromo Liberation Army that it was behind the attack on civilians in Qellem, and he announced to wipe out Oromo Liberation Army. We were waiting for official response from Oromo Liberation Army. OLA spokesperson released a statement a few hours ago. We'll try to analyze this statement. Secondly, Minister of Peace, I think, who is from Oromo region of Ethiopia, seen as very close to PM Abiy. He also spoke a few hours ago about this massacre which was committed in Qellem. His name is Taye Dendea. What did he say? Secondly, we have a new story from Sudan, viewers, where Abdul Fattah al-Burhan, Sudanese army chief, addressed the nation a few hours ago, and he announced that military would not be part of any talks and civilians should hold dialogue and form government. Immediately after this speech, Sudanese forces stormed 3 sit-ins, which I have been updating you about in recent videos. Third news story is from Eritrea, viewers. In the past 1 month, some ships have been seen arriving at Massawa airport, Massawa port, in Eritrea. And one ship which is from Ethiopia arrived at Massawa on the it is going to arrive on Massawa on the 5th of July. It is on its way. So this is the third time that shipping traffic between China and Eritrea is being seen. This ship, Assosa from Ethiopia, it departed a port in China, and now it is going to arrive in Eritrea at Massawa port in coming hours. Why is that this increased shipping traffic is being seen between Eritrea and China? And why is an Ethiopian cargo ship is being used for this traffic? Lastly, international community, Tigrayan diaspora, international media highlights plight of Tigrayan refugees in Sudan and Tigrayans in Tigray. But Tigrayan refugees in Djibouti are being ignored. Details are being shared about living conditions of Tigrayan refugees in Djibouti. How many are they? What are the living conditions there in Djibouti? We have details for you. Firstly, viewers, first news story is the massacre, horrific massacre, another massacre involving civilian killings, which was committed in Qellem Wellega yesterday. Ethiopian government has confirmed that civilians were killed. Numbers have not been shared by the government so far. Last night, Ethiopian PM Abiy vowed to eliminate Oromo Liberation Army. He accused the Shine OLA that it was involved in this massacre of civilians in Qellem Wellega. We were waiting for OLA's position. What is OLA saying? Now, Oda Turbi, OLA spokesperson, issued a statement a few hours ago. What did he say? He says, two divisions of Ethiopian National Defense Force with allied forces are occupying the towns of Qellem Wellega, including Machara town, where civilians were killed in large number. And they were killed by regime's militias. Security forces did nothing to protect civilians. The regime thinks it can just point fingers to escape accountability. Now, let's analyze the statement. Firstly, Oda Turbi is confirming that large number of civilians have been killed in Qellem Wellega. He says large number of civilians killed. A confirmation from OLA side that this is not a fake news story, as some claim that there are no large-scale massacres being committed. It's just propaganda by Amharic news source. It's not propaganda. OLA is confirming civilians have been killed in large number, firstly. Secondly, he says that there is deployment of Ethiopian National Defense Force, two divisions of ENDF and allied forces. What does he mean by allied forces? He did not name Amhara regional forces, Amhara militias. We know that Jawar Beklegarba 2 days ago demanded withdrawal of Amhara forces militias from Oromia. But Oda Turbi's statement has no mention of deployment or presence of Amhara forces in Qellem. He just says allied forces. He is not naming Amhara regional forces. So either Amhara regional forces are not deployed to Qellem Wellega, or they are deployed and by allied forces. Oda Turbi means Oromia, Amhara regional forces and other regional forces. And thirdly, once again, OLA is accusing government-backed militia. When a Tole massacre in Gimbi, close to Gimbi, was committed more than a week ago, back then OLA accused Gachana Sarna, a militia backed by Roman regional government. It was involved in attack on civilians in Tole. Now once again, OLA says government-backed militia is involved and security forces did not do anything to protect civilians. OLA is calling for investigation by local and international investigators to bring the perpetrators to justice. And secondly, Oda Turbi shared an article of BBC. 3 days ago, Lagasse Tolo, Ethiopian communication minister, was interviewed by BBC. And 3 days ago, he said that Qellem West Wellega had been cleared and it was under the control of government forces. OLA was not in control of Qellem West Wellega towns, but the incident happened. So OLA is using Lagasse Tolo's statement as an evidence that it has no deployment, no presence, and the area was under the control of government forces. Statement of Lagasse Tolo cannot be used as evidence that OLA is not involved in the attack. Firstly, We know that Ethiopian government's reporting about gains against OLA have been suspicious. Government has been making tall claims just to pacify the people who are angry because of the killings of innocent civilians in Oromia region. And secondly, even if there were two divisions in Qellem Wellega, Qellem is a zone. Even with the presence of two divisions of ENDF, yes, an attack can be carried out. So it's not a justification. So what is required, it's not an explanation, not a convincing defense. So what is required is independent investigation. Again, which I've been saying, who will investigate? Ethiopian government is against allowing international bodies to investigate matters related to Ethiopian internal problems. And Ethiopian investigative bodies are controversial. Their reports will be rejected by OLA or by other factions. So who will investigate? No one, it means. It means massacres will keep on happening. Civilians will keep on dying. What I have been proposing is that Ethiopia needs an investigative body to investigate ethnic violence, ethnic massacres, killings. An independent body with trust of all regions, all stakeholders. But no such body exists. Human Rights Commission of Ethiopia, Human Rights Council of Ethiopia, their reports sometimes are accepted and sometimes rejected by OLA, by Tigray. Sometimes Ethiopian government criticizes the reports of Human Rights Commission of Ethiopia, Human Rights Council as well. So there is no one body which has trust of all groups, regions in Ethiopia. That is why no matter who is going to investigate this massacre, the report will be rejected by one or the other party. Secondly, Minister of Peace of Ethiopia, State Minister of Peace, his name is Taye Dendea, State Minister of Peace for Ethiopia, very close to PM Abiy. He also spoke a few hours ago about this incident. And he said accountability is the only solution. And it's now an existential matter for the people of Oromia region that attackers must be identified. Very important point. He's in power. He's a member of Prosperity Party. And he is saying that attackers must be identified. PM is saying that OLA is involved in this attack. Interestingly, PM says that Shine is behind this attack. And Taye Dendea said that attackers must be identified. Does he not know about the attackers? What is he saying? And secondly, he says that those who try to tell the truth are declared seekers of power. What does he mean here? I think he is referring to Jawar's speech. Jawar has been calling for peace in his recent talks. And when he started preaching peace, people questioned him. It was said that he was in secret alliance with Ethiopian PM Abiy. And that is why he was preaching peace. I think Taye Dendea seems to be referring to Jawar's calls for peace. That he is preaching peace and he is being accused that he is power hungry. He wants to be part of government. He wants to seek power. But a minister of Ethiopian government wants identification of criminals. PM says it was committed by OLA. Here there is conflict in government's position about who is behind this attack. Second news story is from Sudan. Sudanese Army Chief Abdel Fattah al-Burhan addressed the nation a few hours ago. He addressed after Thursday's demonstrations, in which around 10 protesters were killed, and after the protesters stayed sit-ins in Bahri, Durman, and Khartoum city. A protest going on since October last year. Protesters want an end to military's role in Sudanese politics. But Sudanese military is still a key player in Sudan. Burhan addressed the nation. He announced that military would not be part of any dialogue, and coming talks should be among civilian factions, political parties, which should form a government, and the government army then should steer the country towards election. Though he announced the formation of a Supreme Security Council, and there is ambiguity what will be the powers of the Supreme Security Council. He addressed Sudanese youth as well, that Sudanese youth was the future and hope of Sudan, and it sacrificed for revolution in Sudan. But immediately after his speech, what happened? 3 sit-ins were stormed by government forces. I have shared pictures from 3 sit-ins 2 days ago. One sit-in is in Al Jawda, Khartoum. Second one is in Bahri, and third one is in Durman. Security forces stormed the 3 sit-ins. The sit-in in Durman has been dispersed. Police used force, and protesters resisted, but they had to call off the protest, the sit-in. Secondly, security forces stormed Al Jawda sit-in as well in Khartoum, but there sit-in participants resisted. There were clashes, and sit-in is still there. Government forces could not disperse sit-in Khartoum city. Reportedly in Bahri as well, the sit-in is still ongoing. So on the one hand, Sudanese army chief seems to be saying that Sudanese military is stepping back. Sudanese military is proud of Sudanese youth. On the other hand, sit-ins are being attacked by government forces, and several have been injured, some say killed as well, in these attacks on 3 sit-ins. 2 sit-ins, at least 2, continuing now in Bahri and in Khartoum city. Thirdly, we have a new story from Eritrea. Within the past 1 month or so, 3 cargo ships have arrived at a port in Eritrea, Massawa port. The 3 ships arrived from China, from Chinese ports. They started the journey and they arrived at Massawa port. The last one is Assosa ship, cargo ship, which is an Ethiopian cargo ship. And its arrival date is today, 5th of July. It has arrived, or it's going to arrive in coming hours at Massawa port. So 3 ships from China in 1 month at Massawa port. What is happening? All types of rumors being spread that Eritrea is receiving weapons from China. But what we have learned is that Eritrea and China, they signed an agreement a few hours ago about mining gold, copper and zinc. A Chinese company, in collaboration with Anamco, Eritrean mining company, has started exploration for gold, zinc and other metals in Eritrea. Eritrea has large deposits of these metals, and the 2 countries signed an agreement, 60-40 agreement. China has 60% share, Eritrea 40% share. And ores will be dug up, and ores will be purified in Eritrea. Then the odds will be transported via ships to China. Eritrea is going to receive 692 million dollars annually, and for 17 years Eritrea will earn 692 million dollars from this mining project. So what we have learned is that Eritrea China economic cooperation is increasing. China is mining for gold, copper, zinc, and silver, and that is why increased shipping traffic between Eritrea and China is being seen. We'll update you if we have more updates regarding this increased movement of ships between Eritrea and China. Lastly, viewers, very important news story is from Djibouti, where there are hundreds of Tigrayan refugees. International community, Tigrayan diaspora, Tigrayan government, international media, all are highlighting the plight of Tigrayans in Tigray and Tigrayan refugees in Sudan. What about hundreds in Djibouti? In Sudan, thousands of Tigrayan refugees are there, which are being provided with food and aid by aid agencies. More than 60,000. In Tigray as well, humanitarian situation is improving. Increased aid delivery to Tigray is being seen, though still people are gradually receiving aid and more needs to be done in Tigray. What about Djibouti? How many Tigrayans are in Djibouti? We must not forget that Djibouti supported Ethiopian government in Tigray conflict. How many refugees from Tigray are in Djibouti? Around 300. These refugees have sent a message to Tigrayan diaspora community. Refugees say that yes, they are being given food by aid agencies, WFP, World Food Program, but this aid is insufficient. Secondly, medical services are not available mostly. Thirdly, shelter tents have been damaged, some severely damaged, some suffered major damages due to winds and rains in Djibouti. These refugees are making a request to Tigrayan diaspora abroad that diaspora should not ignore, should not overlook the suffering of Tigrayan refugees in Djibouti. Yes, 300 is not a large number. Tigrayan diaspora community can easily manage provision of aid, provision of medical aid to these refugees in Djibouti. These refugees should not be overlooked, keeping in view that we have seen clashes between Afars and Somali Isas in Djibouti lately. Then Djibouti handed over some Tigrayans to Ethiopian government as well a few months ago, last year I think. That is why these refugees need attention of Tigrayan diaspora, international community as well. But it has been confirmed that World Food Program has access to these refugees. WFP is providing aid, but aid is insufficient. Tigrayan diaspora should play a role in helping the refugees in Djibouti. Thank you for watching.